Hey, welcome to Steph's World, the world according to Steph. Love and light, truth 4. Pretty sure it's truth 4. And this is a really important one, and I hope I get it done properly. It's hard to tell. This program I'm using is kind of different, but I think it's working. Okay, we're still on love because that is a huge thing. We're not going to talk about loving mom and dad and the kids and all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about loving ourselves. That's the first thing we're going to do. Have any of you ever determined what your priorities are in life? I mean, the high priorities that you have in life. Anyone ever think about that? Well, I had to think about it. That was one of the first things that I learned with that lady who told me she wanted me to forget everything I ever knew, and here we go, gonna start something brand new. And it was like, okay, priorities. Let's see, my kids, them getting a good education, me going to work. Those were some of my priorities. And she looked at me and she said, Steph, whoa, 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 you're way off here. And I said, what are you talking about? You know, hey, ma'am, what are you talking about? Way off here. And she goes, okay, let's do this a different way. So I said, okay. So she said, we're going to go a higher level priorities. And I said, okay, I'm with you. And remember, she had told me that I had to learn to let go of every single thing in my life. Everything. And that's not an easy thing to do. I can tell you that right now. This was about 15 years ago. And I'm 60 now. So, you know, I was not that young when I got involved in this. Okay, so, of course, I'm middle-aged, I guess, was it. But anyway, she said, you know, Steph, let's talk about your priorities in respect to loving. Okay? And so let's take this to a much higher level. And I said, okay, I think I'm catching on, and I'm here to listen. Because, you know, I really didn't understand what the heck she was talking about. Well, she said, now, I'm going to give you an example. Don't you think you should love yourself first? And I said, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. I said, but isn't that kind of selfish? And she said, oh no, not one bit. She said, if you don't love yourself, how are you capable of loving anyone else? If you don't take care of yourself, how can you help anyone else? How can you be a good mother if you do not care enough about yourself to love yourself? And I went, whoa, the light was coming on. And I said, yep, I understand. Nope, not selfish at all. In fact, very unselfish. And and I had to learn how to do that. Just on on top of everything, I had to learn how to do that. Well, this was how she taught me to do it. She said, for the first 2 weeks, I want you to every day look in the mirror and say, I am loved. It doesn't matter what you think you're loved by. You just say those words, I am loved. And do it for 2 weeks. And I did it. Every single day. I did it. I was a busy woman. I still had a job. And I was working, taking care of the kids, raising a family and all that kind of stuff. It was the end of my parental stuff, but still there was a lot going on. But every day I did that. And then she told me after that, for the next 2 weeks after that, she said, now, if you believe in anything, it could be a god, it could be Buddha, it could be anything. She didn't care. It could be something pagan as far as she was concerned, but she wanted me to feel the love of something greater than me. You know how important that is? Pretty darn important. When we're children, we usually feel that way with our parents. We usually feel like our mommy and daddy are greater than we are, okay? So we usually feel love in that respect from them. Well, what if some of us didn't grow up like that? What if some of us didn't have that kind of growing up and we didn't have that kind of respect and love and caring from our parents? What then? Well, then we probably became a mess, is what probably happened. And we might have been the wild things, and we might have done crazy, wild things during our teenage years and into our early 20s, and, didn't have any direction whatsoever. None whatsoever. So, I found something that I ended up calling my creator. Okay? I didn't know what my creator was. I had not studied that part of life yet. But I knew that I was going to need to for other reasons. But the point is, I needed to do something that was greater than me. It could have been the universe. I could have said, the universe loves me on a daily basis. Could have been anything. But the point was, it needed to be something greater than me. Bigger. Much greater. And something that I truly didn't really understand either. Okay? Does that make sense? So those were my assignments, and I did them. I spent a month working on that. Every single day. And it started to work. I started to feel that love within me. I started to feel like, yes, I am loved. Yes, everything's cool. I'm going to be all right. I'm loved, and I love me, and I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with me loving me. All right? Okay, so then we were going to do the priorities again. And so now, came the other things. And she goes, now that we have the first one figured out, what are your other levels here? And I said, well, I would have to say my children. Now, I wasn't married then. I think I was single then. And she said that she made the recommendation or suggestion, as she always called it, and she would say this: if you were married and it was a good, healthy marriage, because there's a lot of unhealthy marriages out there. I'm sorry, but there are. And there are a lot of reasons for it. And love is one of those reasons. And she said, if you had a mate that was completely part of your life, totally and completely, she said, that would probably be number 2. Because your children are going to move on. They're going to grow up and move on. And the person that will probably be with you would be your mate. And it all made sense. But at the time, I didn't have that. And I said, okay, since I don't have that, then I'm going to say my children. And she said, good deal. Perfectly okay. And she said, now, what would you think of after that? And I said, the rest of my family. And I'm talking about my brothers and sisters and my parents. Of course, I had a lot of issues with my parents. And those were some of the things we were going to work on, too. We hadn't gotten to that yet. But I did love them. There was no doubt about that. And, for this part of the suggestions, they had to be part of this. And they were. So I was pretty satisfied with, and then my friends came number 4. They were number 4, definitely. Now, further into our little studies, I'm going to talk to you about a different way about doing this, okay? A different, a changing of the friend thing, all right? Or a changing of the family thing. But I don't want to get into it right now because I want to read you some things, all right? Now, these are really important things. And they do have a lot to do with love, okay? We have a private opinion that we keep to ourselves. Okay, now that is a principle of no controversy. When we have controversy, what happens? We get into arguments and fights with even total strangers sometimes. I did. I was wild thing. If you looked at me wrong, we were going to have words, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Steph was not the Steph you're looking at today. No, sir. Mm-mm. So, I learned about the principle of no controversy. And that's when we have a private opinion that we keep to ourselves. Understood? I think so. And then we refuse to be drawn into controversy by anyone or anything, even our husbands. And especially our children, okay, when they grow up. because they're going to go through a lot of stuff, man. And I know because I'm 60 years old and I got kids I have a child that's 40 years old right now. So, yes, I do know a little bit. Okay, here's a biggie. Restraint of tongue and pen. Restraint of tongue and pen. You think that's easy? Oh, no, no, no. Not a bit. Okay. Causes at public level. We check our motives. Always. We check our motives. Let's see. Tolerance is one of our principles, okay? Not trying to get others to take our point of view. Let them have their own point of view. We don't have to have the same point of view, do we? Okay. We are guardians of our fellowship, and of our own lives, okay? So we're guardians of our group, our priority people. We're guardians of that. And we're not trying to get others to take, oh wait a minute, I passed that. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to be guardians of that. That's part of our job. If we love people, and we've determined what our love categories are, then are we not guardians? Okay. What I've been telling you is our spiritual, and please don't get that mixed up with religion. I've had this conversation. This is not a religious deal, okay? Not a bit. Alright? But what I've told you is our spiritual shield for conflict in our world. It starts with us. It starts with us. I love all of you. I'll be talking to you again really soon. And I'm sorry it's taken me this long. Number 4, we're done. See you soon. Love ya.